Now look at this.
Yo, 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 yo. You know what it is. It's CTB. It's Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing.
Most definitely, most definitely. This is the place where the fight fans come to get these delicious entrees of boxing knowledge. What's on the menu for him today, bro?
Let's give a recap, man, of the Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders fight. And what's next for Canelo?
All right, man, let's do it. Let's serve him up. Yeah, man, it was a great night. Great, I won't so much say it was a great fight card, but it was a great main event, I will say. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. We both was correct in our prediction on who was going to win. We didn't see it happening this way, though. So give me your, you know how we do, man. We give our grades on these opponents. So give me your grade on, let's start with the loser, with Billy Joe Saunders. What was your overall opinion and grade of his performance?
I gave Billy Joe a B minus.
That high?
I thought that he did good as far as staying on his feet, staying out the ropes. I think his jab worked very well, but also I thought his defense was pretty good. It just the problem with him was he didn't do nothing but throw a jab, and I thought that that came back to hunt him in the end because I felt like he wasn't aggressive enough. He didn't take enough chances. He didn't do enough to make Canelo respect him. So he just thought he could just, hit him with a jab here and there, try to steal around, and then try to outpoint Canelo, which I said I thought he would try to do. But he didn't mix his punches up, his combinations up, and that's the reason why he got a B minus. But up until the fight was stopped, he was in the fight. Some people had him winning the fight. I didn't have him winning the fight, but I thought that he was in the fight, and I thought he was being competitive, and it showed me a lot as far as Canelo, as far as his future too, also. So that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I gave Billy Joe a D, man. I didn't give him a great grade for one reason. One, because I think we both said that he was going to start early. We thought he was going to pick up the pace early. He didn't do that. He came out kind of flat, and Canelo was fainting him to death. He was scared of Canelo's feints. He was scared of Canelo's body work from the first round. I think Canelo laid down like his game plan early, and Billy Joe was in shambles ever since. Like, really, I gave Canelo. I don't see how a lot of people gave Billy Joe the first round. I gave Canelo like literally the first three rounds. I thought he was really like he had Billy Joe shook pretty much, and it was showing. Like it was obvious to me that he had him shook with the power and the feints. Up until the stoppage, I think I gave Billy Joe 2 rounds. I think I gave him if I remember off the top of my head, it was the 4th and the 5th, because he was landing the jab, and he did make Canelo think. He did a couple good shots with the left hand. He was having Canelo looking a little foolish at some points. I think Canelo do a wild hook, and he dunked under it. And the announcer was like, "Yeah, that's the wildest I've ever seen Canelo miss," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he did what I thought he could do, but he didn't do enough of it. That's why I gave him a D. Man, what was your grade for Canelo and his performance?
I gave Canelo I gave him a B, close to a B plus, but I gave him a B. I felt like that Canelo, he was very patient, and I thought that was good because he didn't panic. He waited. He had a game plan. He did a lot of body work like you said he would do, and it paid off at the back end of the fight. You could tell he was a lot stronger than Billy Joe Saunders. Still, I felt like the sudden movements of Billy Joe and him standing on his feet still confused Canelo a little bit. So to me, that still is a troubling sign for me for Canelo because he still has problems with people that can move their feet and can box and not just stay still, stationary. So that's the reason why I gave him a B. But overall, man, he adjusted. He came in with the game plan. Around the 7th, 8th round, he started to get more aggressive. He caught him with an uppercut that he tried to throw throughout the fight. So it's something he saw that him and Eddie Reynoso was talking about, that he was really exposed to those uppercuts. So he tried them from round 2 to
Round
like
one.
round 6,
Yeah,
and he
early.
kept missing. And then he caught him. I think it the 8th round when he caught him, a
I think he
ninth,
caught him in the 7th and the 8th. He caught him in both
7,
rounds.
yeah, 7 to 8th round. That last one he caught him dead on the eye,
Yep.
and as soon as he caught him on the eye, you saw the swelling automatic as soon as it happened. And it looks like he might have fractured his orbital bone. I'm not sure, but I guess we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, man. I gave Canelo an A, man. I gave him an A because he came with a bully game plan. He bullied Billy Joe Saunders to me. He wasn't looking for combinations. He wasn't looking for no flashy defense. He wasn't the Canelo that we know he can be. He came in there and was throwing nothing but power shots. Whenever he saw opening, he threw a hard shot to the body. Whenever he saw an opening, he threw a hard uppercut. He was looking to knock Billy Joe Saunders out, and it showed in this fight to me. He was the bully and the aggressor, and I don't think Billy Joe, like I said in the last video, he didn't have enough power to keep Canelo from doing that. He didn't have enough in his arsenal to keep Canelo off of him, and it showed. Canelo was landing 1-2 shots at a time. He wasn't looking to, like I said, he wasn't throwing no combinations. He wasn't really trying to trap him on the ropes and throw combination. He was just trying to hit him and hurt him with every shot that he threw. And I gave him an A for that, man, because that was another layer that Canelo showed in his arsenal. Because we used to seeing Canelo do so much that being the bully, being the quote unquote triple G of the two opponents, he pretty much showed the triple G version of him. Like he can actually go in there and just throw hard shots and knock you out of there. As far as the uppercut goes, man, like you said, from round 1, he was throwing and missing it. He saw it. Billy Joe kept throwing a left hand and ducking down to that side. Every time Billy Joe would throw a left or throw a looping right hook, he'd duck down to that same side. And I think Eddie Reynoso and Canelo saw that on film, and they dissected it and they said the uppercut is going to be there. So they looked for it all night, and they finally landed it, broke his orbital bone, and the rest was history. Speaking of the orbital bone, man, it's a lot of fans are saying it's like a lot of mixed reviews. They're saying some people are saying he quit, some people are saying he didn't quit. What was your opinion on that? Do you think he quit? You think he could have continued with the fight, or you think you should give him the benefit of the doubt because he was hurt pretty bad?
It's tough. It's tough because when you're talking about your eye, that's such a sensitive spot. And like you look at Kell Brooks, they said if he had fought a little bit longer, he could have been blind in his eye. So I hate to tell somebody, saying that they quit. But I always like to go on what people say in their past. And in his past fight, he talked about Daniel, what's his name?
Dubois, yeah.
Yeah, Dubois, yeah.
Yep.
He talked about him. And he pretty much said that he would never quit like him. He had a similar injury where he hurt his eye, and he said he would never quit like him. So if you said that about him, then I can't feel sorry for you. So if you call him a quitter, I have to call you a quitter. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't say that, I would have gave him the benefit of the doubt. Only thing I wish is that he had at least came out for the next round and attempted to try to fight. You know what I mean? If he had came out that next round and he had caught some clean shot he couldn't see, and he went down to one knee and said he couldn't continue, I would gave him a little bit more, credit and not been so hard on him as far as quitting. But as soon as it swole up and he went to the rounds, really as soon as he got caught in the eye, he pretty much checked out. He ran for the last minute. He balled up. Canelo was pretty much celebrating because he saw that he was out of it. And then he went to the corner and pretty much quit on the stool. And I wish he at least came out for the beginning of the round and attempted. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Oscar Valdez also said something about it. He said, hey, everybody different. I can't talk for him, but I broke my jaw and I continue. So, you had some boxers that felt sorry for him and felt like it was an excuse and that he could, quit because of the injury he had. But then some people will call him a quitter. So, I mean, it's 50-50 for me. But because he said something about Daniel Dubois, I'm going to say he's a quitter.
I'm in the same boat you in, man. You know how we go. I respect everybody who get in between those ropes and fight. So I would never call somebody a quitter or a pussy. That's not my DNA. But you have to give people credit for what they say. Like Charlamagne the God would say, you got to give people credit for being stupid. And to me, if he called another fighter a quitter for doing the same exact thing that he did, then by his definition, he's a quitter. So I would have to go by what he believed in himself at this point. I'm pretty sure at this moment he probably believes he's a quitter. So I'm just ride with that. Uh, he trash talked all the way up into the point of the fight. He made a diva approach to this fight. He wanted a bigger ring. He got what he wanted. Like you said about Daniel Dubois, he called him a quitter. So I mean, you get what you ask for. That's why I look at it. You get what you ask for. As far as some kind of continuing, I agree with you. Like I seen fighters fight with Brooke over the bones before. Like we said, like you mentioned, Carol Brooke. I seen fighters fight with broken jaws before, broken hands. It's part of the sport. I would like to have seen him come out and try another round. Like you said, as soon as he got hit on him, when he took that step back, you see in his face that he wanted out of there. Like as soon as he felt that he wanted out of there, and Canelo saw it too. Because like you said, Canelo pumping his hands, pumping his fists. Canelo knew the stop was about to come. But I think I call him a quitter. I say this is why I call him a quitter for. Because he knew Canelo was going to come in and knock his head off. And he didn't want to go out there and give Canelo the opportunity to do that. He knew Canelo was coming on, and he knew what was waiting for him when he couldn't go back in that middle of that ring. So he quit for that point. He quit because he was afraid of the outcome when Canelo came out there. That's my opinion on it. All right, man. Let's talk about what's next for Canelo after this fantastic fight, this fantastic performance. He had a couple call outs, man, on social media, and he had one rude person come into his press conference after the fight. And there's also another champion in his division that could possibly be a unification fight for Undisputed. Those three opponents are Caleb Plant for Undisputed, Jamal Charlo. He said he willing to come up and weight to 168 to fight Canelo. And you had Boo Boo Andre come into his press conference and pretty much made an ass of himself. So out of those three opponents, man, who do you think Canelo would take? Who would you want him to see him take? And who do you see have the better chance of upsetting Canelo?
I think all three fighters have a decent chance of beating Canelo. Boo Boo, at this point in time, he has really nothing to offer Canelo. I think he's kind of focused on being undisputed at the weight class he's at right now, and so I think most likely he's gonna fight Caleb Plant next to become undisputed. But then after that, I really believe he's gonna fight Charlo next year around this time of the year on Cinco de Mayo. I think it'll be him and Charlo in May. But if I had to choose who I want to see him fight, I want to see him fight Charlo, because I think Charlo is the guy that has the tools, the size to beat him. And after watching that fight last night, even though Canelo looked good, and I still think he's number one pound for pound, I understand, like you said, why he chose Billy Joe Saunders to fight before Caleb Plant, because I believe Caleb Plant is a better version of Billy Joe Saunders. So he was learning a lot in the ring tonight to prepare him for Caleb Plant. And I think after watching that fight last night, that is going to be an interesting fight, because I think Caleb Plant hits a little harder. He has more grit. He's going to take more chances. He boxes better than Billy Joe Saunders to me. So I'm intrigued by that fight, man. I really think it's going to be a tough fight for Canelo. But if I had to choose one, I would go with Charlo. But I feel like Caleb Plant is going to be the fight in September. I think it's already made.
Yeah, I agree with you on the fight already been made with Caleb Plant. I would like to see him fight Jamal, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'd like to see him fight Jamal Charlo. And like you said with Boo Boo, I don't really see Boo Boo offering anything other than being rude, pretty much coming into his press conference to make a name for himself. Boo Boo didn't look good his last fight. He really hasn't looked good his past couple fights, and he's fighting opponents nowhere near the caliber of a Canelo. So if you're struggling with those caliber of guys, I really don't see you posing any threat to Canelo. And to be honest, I know Boo Boo, he's a skilled fighter, and he's probably will be one of Canelo's toughest opponents in the ring. But to me, he's just another version of Billy Joe Saunders to me, to be honest. I don't really see him having the power to keep Canelo from doing what he want to do. So, but
he a little too chinny too for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Caleb Plant, like you mentioned, Caleb Plant is a very intriguing matchup because he is a better fighter than Boo Boo and Billy Joe. He has a better chin than both of them. He has a better punch than both of them, and he's slick on top of that. I don't think Killer Plant's the type of guy to get a broken orbital bone and quit in the fight. I see him actually trying to go out on the shield. I think Killer Plant will possibly be a tougher fight. I mean, I'm going on a limb. I think he'll be a tougher fight than Charlo, only because of his slickness and his movement. Because Canelo has shown to have problems with that type of fighter. I think the Caleb Plant and the Canelo fight is a lot more harder to call for me than it is for Jamel and Canelo. Jamal, excuse me. Jamal's gonna be there. Like he's gonna be in front of Canelo the whole fight. It's gonna be whoever lands first, whoever get that counters off. Cause both of them are really really good counter punchers. Both of them are hard hitters. Even though I think I would give the power edge to Charlo, but I think the length of Charlo will give Canelo a more problem. Where in Killer Plant, the length and the movement would give Canelo a problem. He has more layers than Charlo has to me. That is why I would prefer to see that fight next. Even though I prefer to see both fights, I think I would prefer to see the unification fight first. All right, man. With that being said, man, you have anything else you want to add to this topic after a beautiful night of boxing last night?
No, I think we covered it all, man. I still think Canelo is #1 pound for pound. So I enjoyed the night, man. It was an electric night, man. Just looking at the TV, man, and seeing 70,000 people pack out that arena, man. It was an amazing night of boxing, man. It was a sight to see, man, and let people know that boxing is still alive, man, and that we got to continue to support it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I enjoy seeing the crowd too, man. Fights feel like a fight when you hear the crowd cheering. It make you really, really feel like boxing is really back. And I'm gonna say this real quick, man. You know I'm real big on Terrence Crawford being known for pound. But after last night's performance and then the view of opponents in front of Canelo next, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I get Canelo #1 pound for pound status right now, in my opinion. Canelo Alvarez to me now is my #1 pound for pound fighter, and only because of Terrence Crawford inactivity and his recent opponents. But with that being said, man, this is CTB. This is Chin Tuck Boxing, your favorite channel. Cut him out of here, man.
All right, everybody, remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. The logo at the bottom, just click on it and hit subscribe, man. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love, and we out of here.